What's up, bookworms? Welcome to episode 119 of the Cantina Book Club podcast, where readers can find interviews with authors from all genres. I'm Megan, self proclaimed content queen, here to bring you insights from the authors themselves. Each week features a Cantina conversation with an author. Sometimes they're returning guests, and sometimes there's someone new. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on an episode, and feel free to browse through existing episodes so that you could catch a previous interview about a book that you finished. Today's episode features a chat with Dr. James R. Gregory. We're talking about his book Killer App. That book is available now. This is such a fun time chatting with James, and if anybody knows me, I'm a little weary about artificial intelligence, AI, and so he helped kind of talk me into just learning through some of his research and what he's learned out there in terms of the technology, and he helped me look at it in a different way. So I appreciate him for that. Now, some spoilers do pop up in these conversations, but the episode is more enjoyable if you've read the book anyway. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say that it's really funny how the AI had to learn personal boundaries like privacy, hit pause, add this episode to your playlist, go pick up a copy of Killer App. The interview will be here when you're ready. Just a heads up that I often use adult language to express my feelings towards these authors and their work, whether the characters need to get their shit together or I am saying what the fuck to the author for making me feel things. Just please be mindful around listening ears. And now a word from Crystal Hope, founder of the Book Podcast Connection.
Hello, listeners. My name is Crystal Hope. I am the host of Must Love Books podcast and the organizer of the Book Podcast Connection. The BPC is a networking group of over 100 book-related podcasts, from fantasy to romance to horror and every genre in between. There are even podcasts for authors and writers. Check us out on Instagram at Book Podcast Connection or at www.bookpodcastconnection.com and discover your next bookish obsession.
Now, I know I'm biased, but I definitely recommend that you all check out the amazing plethora of bookish podcasts and subscribe if you're looking to get more out of your reading lists. And without further ado, get ready, grab your favorite drink. Here is Dr. James R. Gregory. So today we've got Dr. James R. Gregory. We're talking about his book Killer App. That book is available now. And I did get the pleasure to have the novella in there that's available as well, the artifacts. I'm excited to get a chat going today. Thanks for coming.
Oh, you bet. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So to get started, can you share like a summary of the book or which we could talk about both stories, but just, yeah, kind of give a summary so people can follow along with the conversation?
Sure. The book was written with the idea that there's such angst about artificial intelligence. So many things out there that are not known. And a lot of people, a lot of press really are very negative about artificial intelligence. And the fact is, it's
Mm,
a wonderful tool. And I addressed all of those negative things in this story. And each one I tried to take it from both perspectives, the issue, whether it's privacy or job displacement or some of the other things that people talk about all the time, and how this artificial intelligence, which is it's called artificial intelligence made easy, which we call her Amy, and how Amy responds to it. And she's a very high level artificial intelligence. It's beyond just normal human. The whole concept of artificial intelligence goes back to the 1950s when that was a theory, it was a concept. Can we develop machines which act like humans and have a human response? And how do we do that? And how do we know how human they are? And there was a test called a Turing test, and Amy was developed. There's a subplot in the story which she happens to be the result of work that both the main character, the protagonist, the mother and the father both worked on Amy, but he doesn't know that. So
mm.
it's an interesting approach, a different approach to the whole issue.
Yeah, AI, it is very fascinating. I'm leaning towards the little terrified side of it. I think it just scares me a little just for the implications and
it's only gonna get stronger. Like its capabilities are only gonna become stronger. Where it, like going back to what the Turing test, I feel like at now I can still spot AI, but I feel like it's gonna get to a point where it's not gonna be. It's going to be more and more difficult to tell if something is AI or
Without a doubt, that
not.
line is being blurred every single day, and I'm still struggling as to whether is that real, is that AI or is it not? Even phone calls, that telemarketing and that sort of thing, it's becoming so sophisticated you just don't know. And honestly, with any kind of new technology, there are bad people out there that will use it for bad purposes, but there are also a zillion good things that can come out of it. And I think artificial intelligence is going to be the biggest thing that ever hit in our lifetimes. It's that extraordinary. The hype is not overhyped. It's real.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm all for it being used in like the medical field. If AI can help detect things easier or better or faster than if it's life saving. Like I think I read an article or something that was like AI detected breast cancer 5 years earlier than it's typically detected by humans, which is crazy to me. And that's stuff like that. I'm like, that's super helpful, and that's how we can definitely like learn to harness it for things that are just like mass consumption, mass use. I definitely am all for it. But then there's like the other side where as an author you have to be a little careful, because I know there's some sites that are trained that use authors, the writers, their books to train AI. And that's a little frightening too, because it's like you have, if the author agrees to it, that's one thing, but if you're doing it without the author's consent, then that's like definitely a problem. Or like there's just or our as long as we have a healthy grasp on it, like as far as reality is concerned, because there might be some lonely people out there who become attached to a chat bot, like chat GPT like character. And it's alarming because there's so many rabbit holes I imagine that you went down while researching for your story. And I kind of want to piggyback on like some of the topics we're talking about, and like how much research, or what was the most fascinating thing that you learned while you were putting your story together?
I did do a good bit of research, and I did a 6 week study with MIT on the how did AI come about? How was it developed? What types of things are applicable? What kind of applications are there? And what are some of the issues, and how do we overcome them, and how do we watch out for those things? The key in all of that, what I really learned, is that artificial intelligence is simply another tool. And if you treat it that way, it becomes less scary. But also, the humanizing aspects of it is very interesting. Like Siri and Alexa are forms of artificial intelligence. And we're becoming used to working with them. We're becoming used to a familiarity with those. And each of those barriers, as you become familiar with them, they come down, and it becomes easier to communicate with them. In fact, like when I ask Siri a question and she gives me an answer, I thank her. And it drives my wife crazy when I thank you, Siri, for doing something. But I think let's be nice to them now.
Yeah, yeah, it's scary enough. It is justified to be polite to them. It's like,
The other thing that I find fascinating is the movies that have come out, the man versus machine movies. And
mhm.
the first one relating to artificial intelligence was, I believe it was the first one. There might have been others, but 2001: A Space Odyssey. How hell the 9000 ended up in a confrontation with the main character, and just not, I'm not going to do that, Dave. That's just, it goes out, that's outside of where I feel comfortable. I'm not going to work with.
Mhm.
And that line, when you cross that line where they are thinking independently, it's a fascinating, there's room for a fascinating discussion or development of stories around that. Another one was Ex Machina. Did you ever see that movie, Ex Machina?
No, I haven't.
That was made.
It's newish, right?
That was
Like
made in
only less than 10 years old?
2014. And
Yeah, about 10 years old. Yeah,
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 and it's about a machine that was it's made by he's made a whole series of these. This eccentric billionaire has made a whole series of these eccentric, not eccentric, but has made a whole series of these robots, human-like robots, and each one is more and more sophisticated. And you can tell that when this guy who's brought in to apply the Turing test to them to see which ones are truly the most sophisticated and really are human like. He falls in love with she's that human like. And she is so human like that she convinces him to set her free. And that's pretty extraordinary. That's a great. I did not see that movie before I wrote my book, but
Oh, okay.
there are some real parallels to Amy in my story versus the character in Ex Machina. And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch. That is on my watch list for sure because I think it's more relevant now, right? Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it really is, and it's a it's a fascinating movie. Another one is Her, where Scarlett Johansson is the voice on the answering
yeah.
machine, and just seduces this poor guy, and it's so it's so good. Who wouldn't fall in love with her?
I know. I think I've seen. I don't. I'm very familiar with that movie. I think I've just seen like some clips. I haven't watched the whole thing. Um, at least I don't remember watching the whole thing, but I'm really familiar with some of the things that happen in that. Where I think like even his friends like are what's going on. Like they're like on a double date and they're like okay, like we're just supposed to act normal. Like you're we're on a double date with our friend and his AI girlfriend. Like yeah, it is. I forget what I think what the director who does it is known for that like calm, quiet, like absurdity too. So it's yeah, I think I'm familiar with that one. It's crazy because I've also recently watched um the movies the sequel just came out of Megan of that like life-size doll robot whose her only objective is to protect Katie, like the creator's niece or whatever, and she just takes it like by any means necessary. Like if the girl is bullied, she takes care of the bully. If the dog bites her arm, she takes care of the dog. And in the second movie, it's funny because she's like, "You locked me up because I did this," and they're like, "No, it's because you did this and this." Like it was funny. She's reasoning with a robot that she created, and the whole premise of the second one is that there's a bigger problem that only she can help with. They have to work with her, with the AI, with the robot, and that's one of the conversations that they have to like try to trust each other again because she it's like no like you still don't get it like
Exactly.
yeah.
The world for creativity is just beginning, and it's going to be a tsunami. It really is. It's trick is pick your battles. Pick the things
Yeah.
that you want to pursue because it's overwhelming. It's coming from every direction. And
Yeah.
that's the feeling that this Bryce Bogle in the book has. He's struggling to understand what is happening. And I thought it was a simple thing that you were going to help me improve my writing, but you're learning about me, and you look at everything I write, everything, my personal email, and why do you do that? Because I can, because I have complete access, and my role is to help you improve in your life, and from my perspective, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Some of those conversations were funny because she like just her she couldn't grasp the like the whole idea of privacy and
Right.
she like what are you talking about? What's privacy? What do you mean? Aren't I supposed to be doing this? He's like, no, don't read everything. Like don't it's like boundaries. Like the AI has to learn boundaries. It is humorous, the whole idea of it. So you've got a few different works published, right? Like this isn't your debut.
No. So I've been around the block a few times. My career, had a business in New York. My wife and I had it for 40 years on brand building for corporations, corporate brand building. And I wrote a whole series of books, business books, with a large publisher, McGraw Hill. And that really set my career off to just made my career. And so I had books like Marketing Corporate Image, leveraging the corporate brand, branding across borders, the best of branding. And these books, every time I would have a new one, they would come out in languages all around the world. And then they would send me around the world to give speeches in these different cities. And it was just extraordinary. I could not have asked for anything better in my career to promote my career than having this relationship. And all I did, really all I did, was I looked for a problem to be solved and I
Mm,
solved it. And the problem was people didn't know how advertising created value. There was the Wanamaker statement about, I know 50% of my money is wasted. I just don't know which half. And
mm.
I help figure that out. And then I talk about it in my books. That was fantastic. So for 40 years, my career was focused on these books, and we didn't have to do any advertising or promotion to get work. We were a known entity. And then I made the terrible decision to retire.
Oh no.
And so and that was in 2013. I sold the business, and my wife and I did the trips and enjoyed retirement for a year. And finally, she said, "You're getting on my nerves. Do something." And I hated golf, so I ended up getting a doctorate from a business school. I gave a speech to this business school, University of South Florida, and the dean was in the front row. We had lunch afterward, and he just hooked me right then and said, "You should be doing a doctoral program in this and teaching it." Well, I hate teaching, so I
Yeah.
so again, I did the doctorate, and that took 3 solid years of pain and suffering and hard work. But when I finished it, what I did find is that I enjoyed thinking and research and developing stories and ideas. And so I wrote a book about my childhood, a memoir about growing up from 6 years old to 10 years old, called Columbia the Street. And that was a fun read. It's all about, I was so focused on Columbia Street as the center of the universe that I thought that Columbia the country and Columbia the university were named after our street.
Oh.
So that was interesting. And then I wrote another memoir, which was Small Fortunes, and this is a series of novellas that I developed based on different aspects of our business over the 40 years.
Okay.
A fun read again, and very interesting for especially for people like who own businesses with their spouses. A lot of lessons
Right.
in there. And then and then I said, okay, let's develop a novel. And I was spent time in Ukraine before the war broke out, and wrote a book about that. And
Mm,
Zephyr's War is about a Ukrainian capitalist versus the Russian mafia, and this internal battle, this battle that took place between them. And the Ukrainian capitalist launched his IPO, as an initial public offering, on Wall Street. So how he did that without being killed is the
mm.
theme. And then finally, Killer App is the most recent one, which also has artifacts as
Yeah.
part of it. Bonus book, bonus novella.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, no, that's like I think that's really cool how you I kind of want to explore how you transitioned from nonfiction to fiction writing or creative because you published a bunch of books like through your career professionally, and then you ventured into these more creative fictional works. And I guess like, I just want to explore like how like what your experience was like, any big lessons learned, any skills you didn't realize that you transitioned so well when you made that shift, stuff like that.
That's a really good point. It's an entirely different experience. I mean, The only thing that's similar is your writing. You're using writing skills. But when you have a big publisher like McGraw Hill, you don't have to worry about the marketing aspects. You don't
Yeah.
have to agonize about how are we going to make money on this. They send you checks and print your books and ask you to do things, and you just say yes, and it's easy, easy peasy. Not easy peasy. It's relatively easy, I should say.
Mhm.
Then the second two books, the Small Fortunes and Columbia the Street, were self-published, but with a group called Bestseller Publishing. So that's
Mhm.
an organization where you pay to have them help you and to guide you along. And they promise that your initial thing will be a bestseller of some sort on Amazon. And it actually does work, but it's not a big publishing company. So you're not making a ton of money back, but you're getting out there and your book gets done.
Mhm.
So for people who have a book in them that they really like to write and they're not too concerned about making a profit from it, then that's a good way to go. Then I transitioned to Morgan James, and so I needed more power, a little more heft behind the art of the books. And Morgan James is a true publishing company that has a sales force, and they have a very professional staff. And then David Hancock, who's the CEO of Morgan James, meets every week with the authors. They have a Zoom call every Tuesday, and so he'll have 30 some 40 authors. Anyone can ask a question, and it's just filled with information and insight. So the it's and but again, it's up to you as the author to really do the marketing, to get out there and promote it and build it and make it into something. And I know enough about brand building to know that the books should have a look to them, and the consistency of how you market them and that sort of thing is extremely important. So I try to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. I imagine you learned a lot too, just from switching gears, and you had to maybe jump out of your comfort zone a little bit. But like you said, you have a background in marketing. That was what you've been doing. So you had the backbones, you had the basics down. You just had to apply it to like a much different,
Yeah,
project, so to
surprisingly,
speak.
my
Yeah.
background didn't help that much.
I know.
I understood the
Well,
theories, but doing it, I used to have a staff of people who would do things. So the ideas are there, but when you're doing it yourself, it's an entirely different thing. It's just like, okay, we need a website. You guys put a team together and do it. When you do it yourself, all of a sudden you're looking at it and it's not working. Why isn't it
mm,
working? It should be working. You do a direct mail campaign. I've done 1,000 of them, but when you do it for yourself, it's not getting the results I want. What the heck?
yeah.
So it's hard. It's really hard.
It is. And I think just with self-publishing, the publishing industry in general, it's just changed so much because I speak to authors who are like you, have written, they have a whole career behind them, either as a writer or in another scope. Um, and where, yeah, they have to take on that task of doing it themselves, and they almost like they're, if it's self-published versus trad, they're like, I feel like even me as a podcaster and someone who's in the book community, it's really saturated, which is a good thing, but it's also competition for you guys. Like, there's so many people, there's so many books, so many people who are self-publishing and putting their work out there. But it's like, yeah, it's just like you all want to be supportive of each other, but you're also, oh no, like, are they gonna find me your work amongst every all their options?
And this artificial intelligence thing, there are a number of them that are specializing in helping people write their own books. And
Mm,
they're coming out of the woodwork. People who have always had an idea, and there are people out there advertising, if you have an idea, we can write your book. It's like, whoa, that is the line that is being crossed.
yeah, yeah, because it's like you didn't write it.
Yeah.
You were the content director. You were like, I don't know what you just want to say, art director, the creative director, but you didn't write it. Like you could just like it. That's where it's, dude. Be honest with yourself, and like, because I also like people in the book community are very much like, especially like with artwork or like character art and stuff like that. There's a lot of lines to cross there as well for people who use AI for artwork, and it's there are artists out there who create like very compelling and beautiful work, and they can pick up on these things on from your novel, your story, and bring it to life through their own talents. But then if you're just going to go like promote another work and you find out it's just AI that generated it, it's just that is definitely like discouraging. And it's no, like, you didn't draw, this isn't art, like AI put some of these images together. And like it's, I think I'm once like I was doing like Photoshop for one other reason, I think for just like my personal stuff. And Adobe Photoshop is like prompting me like, oh, you could try this new AI feature. And I was like, okay, what? And so you just enter in, do you want like a pattern with purple flowers, and or do you want like glasses on a bookshelf and with like something like that. I think I just did it like with a vines or plants like on a bookshelf with glasses, and I would just to see like what was going to come up. And it's crazy how it should just generate it, and then you can just, and a really good Photoshop artist can do their thing with the aid of AI and make it look like amazing, and it's like a real photo, like a real image. And it's that's something like that is crazy to me. Also with Amazon and like Alexa. I think my parents are retired too, but I would think I was helping them figure out like the little dot, like the little Echo or whatever, the speaker thing. And I was goofing around and I was like, Alexa, do you work for the government? And Alexa answered like, no, I work for Amazon. And me and my mom were like, oh, I was just messing around. I was just like being like a silly goof or whatever, like a little facetious. And she was, oh shit. Like I didn't expect Alexa to respond to me and say, no, I work for Amazon. Like I
that,
was like, oh
that
no.
that is great. That's a good story.
Like maybe that's like partially where I'm like a little terrified. I'm like, I don't even want to go for it. But I'm hearing your comment, like this conversation and you describing it helps me think like, no, look at it as a tool. Like it doesn't have to be super scary. Just look at it as a tool that, and just be careful with it. And we just, and that's what I worry about with my kids too. I'm sure this is for you to wrap around your head where your grandchildren are going to be they're going to be dealing with things that we never, us as kids, like have ever had to contend with. And
They
it just,
already are. When they come over to visit, it's like they say hello, they give you a hug, and within 15 seconds they're on their iPads. And one of the projects I'm working on is it's not really a book, but I don't know how to describe it. But it's games we played as children, and the
mm,
stories of older people, doesn't parents and grandparents, so their stories of games they played without electronics, and to try to make it into something that we can play with the kids. Just like I mentioned yesterday, I was babysitting the my two grandchildren, and we did drawings. We had these large news pads, and we were making contour drawings. They had no idea what a contour drawing was, and maybe that's something that they'll learn later. But it was hugely fun, and it took up an hour of time, and they produced really good artwork. And so that's our thing. Every time we get together, they come over, and now it's not the iPads, it's can we do some art?
yeah,
And can we go to your art studio and do something? And so I have the walls covered with their work. And they'll ask me, is this good enough to put up on the wall? Maybe yes, maybe no. I'll let you know. It might show up.
that's so funny. My parents, my mom, she takes a lot of classes like glass fusion classes or like watercolor painting crafts, stuff like that. She does after, since she's been retired. And one of the things I will send, because it's mostly because my older one, he's in full day school, and so the younger one, they have him more often, because his preschool is only like a few days a week, like half a day. So when they have him, I'm like sending coloring books and all this stuff that they can, because like they're having their tablets is super helpful, but I feel like I don't want them to get sucked in it for hours.
Right.
Like unless my parents have like an appointment or they can't go outside
Right.
or they try to be as creative as possible. But so I try to give them stuff for the younger one to do, and it's the same thing. Like there's a whole wall dedicated in my 4-year old's like paintings and just like simple like the cheap dollar store paints like on paper, and
Sure.
it's hilarious. Yeah,
Sure. It's
it's hilarious. I
yeah.
love
That's
it. I
so
love it.
cool. Certainly the iPads and the things that they are working on at 8 years old and 10 years old are so sophisticated and so interesting
Mm.
and
Oh yeah,
complex. And this will be their lives in the future. It's going to
yeah,
be very tied into electronics and
yeah,
computers and all that. But just to give them some fresh air I think is so important. It's not just about that. It's about life. It's about living. It's about
yeah.
engaging with people and all of that.
Exactly. And we're like our family time. Like I have to tell myself like it's okay to just be doing nothing or just to hang out. Like we don't have to always be doing something like I just read all the time. If I wasn't reading I'd be sucked into my phone like doom scrolling or I don't know, it's hard for me to relax. And so I think that like when I see my kids and my husband we're all just chilling like whatever, just downtime, I get nervous like that. I'm like, oh, is it because they're on their screen time right now? Is it because like they don't like does the screen time making them not want to explore anything else and then like stuff like that. But I do because my older one he doesn't like reading that much, but he's getting used to it like before bed because if he has a hard time falling asleep I'm like try reading a book. Like that works for a lot of people. Like some people can't read at night because they fall asleep because they want to read but they keep falling asleep. So I was explaining to him, and but he didn't have like a nightlight that was closest to him. My husband got like one of his like headlamps and like like strapped to the head and so that he could have it like in his bed just reading. And I'm like, hey, if that works, we'll check on him in a couple hours. Hopefully he's out by then. Yeah, it's just funny. Like we're trying to be, and now of course the 4-year old he can't read yet, but now he wants one. He
Of
wants,
course.
like so. I don't know. I think the younger one is going to be the one more so like into the books and into like creating art versus the older one. He's like just he loves video games, and I'm not against that either because then we get to, like I don't mind playing Mario Kart with him, or we could play it as a family. Like that's something fun that I don't mind doing with him. There's just certain video games I don't like playing because I'm not good at them at all, and he knows it too. So it's like when I talk to people about that, or even I had a guest who was an adolescent therapist, family therapist, and he was like, well, "It's not bad. It's you guys are doing it together, and that's like the better part of it." He's like, "If you're making family time, and if you're not." He's not stuck playing for like more than the 2 hours at a time. That's best. Obviously, you parent. He's like, I understand parents will have to have that wiggle room. Like we didn't like I didn't grow up like I didn't have a tablet to control my own content. It was just I don't even remember what I did as a kid. It was like there was still TV, but like it's crazy. It's like what did we do? How did we pass our time? I gotta like figure it out.
This new book that I'm working on with games we played as children, it's just extraordinary, the stories. I'm trying to get stories from individuals. And
Sure, yeah,
the stories that I'm getting are amazing, just amazing. Where kids organized an Olympics in their block in the inner city, and so that everybody they had a one block run. And how far can you throw a brick? Things like that. It's just so cool. And others
yeah,
who had no friends whatsoever, the creativity they had, not because they were antisocial, they just lived in an area that was completely isolated in
sure.
Africa, and they made a whole town out of little leaves, and the creativity is just extraordinary.
That is
So,
it's like fun. Even like some adults could learn new things
oh,
by learning that. Yeah, that's wild. That's fun. Um, it's all
I listened to your other a couple of other of your programs, and the one thing you said made me laugh so much. And I write novellas, okay? They're short, and I do that on purpose because I don't like long reads myself.
sure.
I
Yeah.
prefer to a weekend read or an airplane read. And you called them palate cleansers.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that that is such a great comment. That absolutely, that's what they are. They break away. I love big books as well, long books, if they can keep you interested. And
Yeah.
but these are short reads, and palate cleansers is absolutely the best description I ever heard.
I appreciate you listening because I know like authors are sometimes a lot of them are just like introverts or they might not be like super like comfortable or they might be nervous about appearing on a podcast and I'm like I'm the person you should be least intimidated by. Like I'm a big dork, I'll ramble on and it's okay to swear. It's like it's fine depending on the day of the week. We can have a drink together. It's okay. Like honestly, I just want people to feel comfortable and help them promote their work. No, I appreciate it. And that's why it's like I don't mind the humor. I don't mind making fun of myself. Or it's also just because all authors, they're readers too. So it's really cool to like get that back and forth on it. Because like, I think I was talking about like right now I've been catching up on the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson and the audiobooks. They're read, they're narrated very well, but they are so long. They're so long. And I feel like I've just been listening to the same two narrators for like the past 6 months because the books
Oh
are like the shortest book is like 42 hours. And I was like,
God.
yeah, and I was like, okay, but like it's just done well, and the books are just very good. But like you said, like exactly like a longer book, you have to mean like you have to keep the reader's attention, and you have to keep the stakes high, and you have to keep feeding them clues and promises, like that things are going to happen a certain way, or there's gonna be this big like dramatic moment that they. It's 5 books, like I'm in the last one finally, and I finally have I think like 21 hours left. So I feel like I'm almost done. I'm like it's like after all of these hours, I feel like I'm almost done. But no, exactly. It's I enjoy books like yours or like little fluffy romance books that I can just okay, I know I'm gonna get. I don't have to invest too much thinking power in what I'm reading because the topic matter it's like interesting and I don't have to look for a lot because some of yours, like, I could try to be spoiler free too, but you had like a few twists in there that I didn't necessarily see coming, and it was like funny to God, what Bryce's his response to some of those things. It was funny, like, but that's it's not to say that's like I don't want to say that I whatever I read palate cleansers. It doesn't mean they're dumbed down. It just
Oh
means
no.
like, oh, I don't have to think too hard, and it's entertaining and it's engaging, and like, yeah, it's just you get a little sucked in, and you can just like chill and just be like, just refresh your mind, be entertained, have a good time. And whereas the more like the longer books where it's just like more of an epic tale, you're like I try not to get too intimidated, but after reading these, after listening to these books, I'm like, I don't know. I think I probably missed a lot. Like just I didn't make connections because it's like also listening versus reading it like on paper or whatever. But yeah, I think I could like handle almost anything after reading 5 Sanderson's books, his epic saga. It's like and now I'm like, oh man, because like he has a whole like universe of all his works. A lot of his works are interconnected, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be ready. If I when I'm done, I don't know if I'm gonna be ready to try any of his other ones that are in the same universe. Because I'm like, I think I'm gonna need a break from Brandon Sanderson for a while.
I can
And
supply the
you know,
palate cleansers. So,
yes,
hey, did you
exactly.
the book by Gail Honeyman? It's called what's it called? Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine.
Yes, that's one of my favorites. I loved that book, and
Amazing.
I did also listen to it. Yeah, it like it was it was done so well and it was narrated very well too. It was fun to hear the accents because I guess like when you're reading it, you don't automatically do the accents in
Right.
your head, but like or you just read however you speak or learned or hear. But yeah, that book, I love that book.
Okay.
It was such a good book.
That was a mind blower for me because that's not my style of book at all. And somebody said, just read it. Just read this one. Another one, which I would be very curious if you've read, Victoria Schwab, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
That is on my reading list because I've heard that like I hear it only good things about it. I hear
It'll
only
blow
good
you
things.
away.
Yeah,
Kept me awake at night.
yeah.
I couldn't I it's a real mind one.
Maybe, yeah, because I do have Audible credits, so maybe that'll be my next audiobook. So we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed that the narrator does it well.
But
Because
those are both
I've
first books of both of them.
oh wow,
Yes.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I know V.E. Schwab. She's like a well known, but like I didn't realize that was her first book.
I think
That's
I'm almost sure it is. Now that you mentioned she's well known, she must be well known for writing. But so perhaps I'm wrong. But I think that was I know Gail Honeyman. That's her first book.
yeah, and I didn't know the I didn't recognize the author, but I do recognize like I remember that book does stick with me because it's just like it hit me like when a book just hits you and you didn't see it coming, and I just like oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I felt for her, the main character, and just the what she went through, and as some of it resonated with me too, like on such a deeper level where I was just like, ugh, like it was just it. So someone who can like understand depression like so well, and to like that does happen. Like you find yourself in a pit where you just shut down or you just become numb, and and for days, and it's just to have to see that like with a character with something like her, it was just, and of course I think a lot of people can relate to just unrequited love or like just daydreaming and having these thoughts and assumptions and having the perfect picture of how things are going to be, and then having it like reality just be like no. And it was sad, but I was just like I felt for her so much. I loved that book. It was
Yeah,
such a good.
it was very interesting. I found that for the first time, I really understood depression. In my mind, I'm saying, just deal with it. Just come on, don't be so
Yeah,
silly. Snap out of
yeah.
it. And every peel of the onion, every piece of the onion as it's peeling back. Oh my God, what she went through. It was just
Yeah,
remarkable in how she dealt with it. Fascinating book.
I know. Yeah, I definitely am right there with you. Okay, so this is a two-parter. What were the most challenging parts to write or the most enjoyable parts to write?
For Killer App, I really enjoyed the dialogue back and forth. How she was a blank slate at the beginning. My name is, this is what I do, and I'm here to help you if I can. What are your issues? What do you want me to do? She's growing throughout and learning how to be a human and not really desiring to be a human because she doesn't see any great potential in being a human, but seeing some things like love that are desirable I could see where that would be really good. I can relate to that if it helps. And the other thing was you're in Chicago, right? In the Chicago area.
Correct.
The Cloud Gate sculpture
Yeah.
by Amish Kapoor. Every time I have been in Chicago, I go there and I sit and watch the people walk past it. You cannot walk past that without stopping or glancing at it. Even if you've done it 100 times, you're going to glance at that thing. And it is just a remarkable piece of sculpture. I've never seen anything in the world create that kind of reaction. And the people who do get involved with it, they get close to it and back away, and the kids are playing with it, and it is just a remarkable thing. And that she saw that in a security camera. That's how she happened, because she can't move out of her computer. She saw it in like a security camera and said, "Oh my God, that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
How do we do that?" So anyway, that was the fun part. The not so much fun part is marketing of books.
Mm,
It's
mm,
hard work, and the whole system that we've been talking about today, the issue of the complexity of marketing, the lack of accountability, the misunderstandings of marketing, it's just not great.
mm,
The current system is not great. And I think something's got to give, but I think what's going to give is the creativity, which is very sad.
mm,
I think that we're going to lose a lot of authors. Like, for example, you were talking about the narrator of the book and how much you enjoyed it. Narration is now automated. It's now artificial
mm.
intelligence. Amazon goes out to the authors and says, if you're producing your book here, we will give you the voiceover for free. It's a part of our service. They want to obviously sell more books. It costs them nothing to do it. They had to invest in the system to do it.
Yeah.
But it's a weird thing going on in the world right now.
Yeah, and with marketing, I think it's just the more technology, like how our digital world has just expanded exponentially. Because marketing 20, 30 years ago, you didn't have you didn't need a website. You didn't necessarily need a website. You didn't necessarily need there wasn't social media where you just put posts and blogs and graphics and stuff like that. There wasn't. So that's something that I have also noticed just growing. I was born in the late 80s, but 90s it's even crazy because it's like I feel like I was still young enough or old enough when these things started popping up. I was in like middle school and doing the AOL Instant Messenger. Like I was doing that, but it's crazy because now it's like the internet has just blown up and so has like how we interact with it and then how technology responds to user activity and how stuff like that. It's there's so much there and so many industries and ways of doing things like marketing and communications and public relations. That's all a lot of that stuff in sales, like a lot of that stuff has been just changing and it's going to continue changing because of new ways to like reach people or just get your message out there. And it's wild because it's crazy and it's interesting, but it's also like anybody can do it. Like it's like anybody who has an opinion can share their opinion, whether it's favorable or taboo or like everybody there makes their voice louder. And in my opinion, it's like it could be a good thing and a very bad thing as well,
Totally agree.
for sure.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a maybe another tough one. What advice do you have for Bryce? What advice do you have for Amy?
I'm not worried about Amy. Amy's going to be fine. Bryce, he really went through a lot. He learned that his parents were not his parents, and that he's and the love of his life, who was forbidden fruit because she was his cousin, it's no longer his cousin, and he's able to marry her, which which she does, but that's a crazy thing. I don't know where that's going. He's got some issues to deal with. He's part of the family business, even though he's not part of the family. He is by adoption, but it's going to be fascinating to see what happens to him. I don't see me writing a sequel to that, although I could. Huh,
Mm,
there's an idea.
maybe, yeah, maybe one day. You know, that's for free, free tip, free little idea for you, no charge. Dr. James R. Gregory, where can we find you online and on social media?
My website is jamesrgregory-books.com. And the R is important in there, jamesrgregory-books.com. And my books are sold wherever books are sold. And that's pretty much it. I'm on different social media. I don't have the list. I'll show up when you
Sure.
least expect.
So, are the links available on your
They
website? Because that's
are.
kind of easy to point. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, sounds good. Okay, Dr. James R. Gregory, Killer App, and the little side novella artifacts that is available now. Thank you so much for joining me. It's such a fun conversation, going back and forth and making me feel a little bit better about AI or maybe a little more approachable anyway. And yeah, if and when you ever want to chat about another title that you've got going on in the future, feel free to reach out.
Oh, Megan, thank you so much. It was great fun.
And there you go. That was Dr. James R. Gregory talking about his book, Killer App. That book is available now. Check out the show notes to see links where you can find Dr. Gregory online and on social media. While you're at it, in the show notes, you'll also see where you can find Cantina Book Club online and on social media, such as Bookstagram, BookTube, Book Talk, Facebook Threads, and more. And I would love and appreciate if you can hit that follow and subscribe button so that you never miss out on a book review or author interview. If you have any book loving friends who are looking to get more out of their reading lists, please share Cantina Book Club with them so that they can find upcoming releases and interviews with authors. Another way to help this podcast is to head on over to your favorite podcast player and give Cantina Book Club a rating and review. It helps me to reach more potential listeners and fellow book lovers like you. And that goes for any podcast that you listen to. It's one of the easiest ways that you can help them out. If you need book recommendations, you can reach out to me. I'm always looking forward to sharing my thoughts. Or if you want more in-depth book reviews, you can subscribe to cantatabookclub.com, where I'm writing a review about any type of genre that you could think of. While you're at it, you could subscribe by entering the email on the website, and you could get new reviews and episode posts delivered directly to your inbox. If you want to support Cantina Book Club even more, you could donate by finding the form on cantinabookclub.com. Whether it's a one-time donation or as little as $1 a month, I seriously appreciate the support and will share that appreciation by giving you some love on the show. And finally, one of the best ways to help authors promote their works is to head on over to Amazon, Goodreads, or Storygraph, or pretty much anywhere you keep track of your reading lists. Give a title that you've read recently and enjoyed a rating and review. It really does help the authors out. And other than, picking up a copy or purchasing a book or showing them some love on social media. Thanks so much for listening and see you next time. Cheers.